Hey there, it's Dave at NoRecipeRequired, and tonight we're grilling steaks. That's right, a whole video on how to grill steaks. Now, obviously that's a really big topic, and there are lots of different steak cuts out there. Some have different subtleties in the way I might grill them or not. What I'm going to do is actually use two cuts. I'm going to use a filet and I'm going to use a New York strip. You'll notice that, and I'm doing those two because they are pretty darn common out there. They're different thicknesses, right? So you may come to them and say, all right, well, I got to cook them differently. The core techniques are actually the same. What we're going to do differently is just cook the thicker steak a little bit longer to get to the same doneness. For me, that's a medium rare steak. Again, if you want to bring yours to medium or medium well, you're not really changing anything here. You're just going to cook it for a little bit longer. Really simple to do. Some people get intimidated with the grilling with steaks, but really not all that hard if you know these 4 or 5 key principles, techniques. Let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, let's go ahead and start talking about grilling steaks, how to grill steaks. Now, I've got two here. I've got a New York strip, which is kind of the long, skinnier one. This is cut from the loin. The filet here is from the tenderloin. And the reason I'm doing two is this one is obviously much thicker than this one, but that's not really going to change the core techniques that we use. We're still going to use high heat, still going to use seasoning, all the same things. We're just going to let this one go a little bit longer because the heat's going to move from the outside to the center. And so it's going to take a little bit more time to get to medium rare. What we're going to do is heavily season both sides. Fresh ground black pepper and salt about 5 minutes, or just 5 minutes before we go ahead and put it on the grill. And then I've got my grill already going. You want to get it as hot as you possibly can. And then I'm going to coat, once I get both sides, good amount of salt and pepper. Just use a little bit of olive oil and get a nice thin layer of oil on both sides of those steaks. Then we can bring them out to the grill. Okay, so here we go. We're ready to grill our steaks. I've let them come up to room temperature. Then we season, then we put the oil on them, and you can always just rub those steaks around, soak up any of that extra olive oil, salt and pepper that's on there. And my grill is as hot as it goes. I've let it preheat for about 20-25 minutes. And while the fact that this steak is actually small, this is about half a pound, this is a pound, but because it is thicker, it's about ½ an inch or so thicker, we're going to start with this one so that I can get them done at the same time. It's not really about the total weight, it's about the thickness of the steak. So we're going to start with our filet. I got a cleaned grill, obviously. I'm just going to lay it down. That high heat is the way we're going to get the grill marks on the steak, and I like to do it just a little bit at an angle, not a big deal. And then once it's on there, we're going to simply shut the grill and let it go for about 3 minutes. Alright, so my filet has gone about 3 minutes or so. You got those nice grill marks on there. We're going to turn that, and you can also kind of do a different angle on those grill marks. And now I'm going to come in with my New York. It's going to cook about 3 minutes less time, so that's why we're starting it now. Same techniques. I'm going to leave it on there, let it go, lid closed, don't touch it, don't do anything at all with it. You don't poke it, you don't cut it, you don't do anything. Let it be. Okay, so after about another 3 minutes or so, our filet is going to be almost fully cooked. What I would do now is turn down the back burner there. I'm just going to let that kind of come up to medium rare. I'm going to flip over our New York strip. Again, we got those grill marks on there. Let's lay those guys down. And the way I tell doneness is kind of the field method. Your little pat of the what do you call that? I call that a hand. Pat of your hand kind of firms up as you move your index finger to your pinky. That's very firm. That's pretty loose. This essentially is a medium rare steak. And so as you get some practice, you can eventually figure it out. If you don't know, go ahead and use a meat thermometer. Just don't cut into the steak. You really don't want to do that. You want to test it like once, twice, max. 125 is what I like for a nice medium rare. All right, so now we're in the area of final judgment. My steaks have literally been cooking for like 6 or 7 minutes max. Super high heat. We got those grill marks. Let's check them out. We got the grill marks on that side as well. And really, now you're just looking for doneness or temperature on the inside. So you may need to come back. You may need to, oh, look at that. I even got the crosshatch grill marks on the filet. You may need to turn the heat down. If you like your steak kind of medium or well done, now's the time. You just shut everything, the heat down to low for the most part. You close the lid. You treat it like an oven, and that's pretty much it. These guys are, I think, just about done to where I want them. They should both be a nice medium rare. So I've got our cutting board, which I've cleaned off. Tongs I cleaned off as well. I'm just going to pull the steaks off. Final thing you got to do, you got to let these guys rest, right? We cooked them for about 5 or 6 minutes. You want to let them cook them for 6 or 7 minutes. You want to let them rest for at least 3 or 4 minutes for those juices to kind of settle down, because if we cut into them now, a lot of the juice runs right out there. You end up with a drier steak. So let's do that, and we'll go plate it up inside. Okay, our steaks have rested now. We got our New York, we got our filet, nice beautiful little grill marks there. And what we're hopefully going to see when we cut into this baby is a nice, I call that medium rare, beautiful beautiful color to it. And you know, letting it rest, you make sure that none of those juices, well, not none, most of those juices don't run right out on you. Let's see how we did on the filet. Oh, beautiful as well. How about the side by side? Now, they look really, really close because we started them at slightly different times, same temperature, and they're absolutely perfect. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required. Alright, I loved cooking, grilling these steaks off, having an absolutely awesome time. I love doing the video as well. Go ahead and check out my steak side dishes. You're going to find about 20, 25 dishes in there that will pair absolutely perfectly with a grilled steak. You can also check out these links here. If you don't have a grill, you're not condemned to a life without steak. Lots of great options for cooking steaks indoors. I've gathered them together here. Take a look. I'm sure you're going to find something you love. And I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.